I'm now joined by El Kukui, Tony Ferguson. He's in the co-main event against Charles Oliveira. This must be a fun opponent for you. You look at what Charles Oliveira's done, all of the submissions, the record holder for submissions. This seems like it's right up your alley.
Absolutely. I'm a really game opponent for in the submission category myself with the snap jitsu and Charles Oliveira a little bit more traditional. Dude says he's got better Muay Thai and wrestling than me, so it's actually in his opinion, so I'll respect that. But this kid's going to have his hands full this weekend, brother.
When you watch his fights and you see the kind of creativity that he has, does he remind you of you at all? I mean, you guys are two of the most creative, most entertaining fighters in the UFC.
Um, as far as like, I don't consider anybody that's like me. There's only one other Kukui. Like, I don't talk to myself in the third person and stuff. But with Charles Oliveira, the stature, the length, his ranginess, and his quick, fast twitch muscles, and how he jumps on submissions really fast. I mean, he's his own person, man. I gotta give him props to that. But he tries to, with the sunglasses and talking the style and whatever, man. It's cool. It is what it is on that part. Like Max Holloway says, right? It is what it is. I'm not sampling from him, but it's a fighter's fight, and I'm excited for it. If you guys are excited for it, I'm glad to be a part of it for UFC 256 co-main event.
Personally speaking, I think it's one of the fights I'm most excited for from the entire year. I think it's a fantastic matchup. When you look at this particular card, UFC 256, it seems like you were fairly insistent on being on this particular card. Why is that?
Well, because I didn't want to get forced into a different division. How about like in a top 5 position? I was ranked number 2, 3. I forget what rank I'm at. But what I saw was like they were going to take the number 4, number 1, put them over here, make a fight. And then I wanted to fight Chandler, but Chandler said that he wanted to fight too, but the UFC said that he had an opponent already. And then Chandler was like, well, wait a minute, I don't have a fight. And then they're yelling at him for basically saying, oh, we do or you don't. So somebody was lying along the way. And so I took matters in my own hands instead of waiting all the way until Abu Dhabi and all this other stuff and then having me keep putting this way, like in a division, how they always do, because that's how UFC works and matchmaking. I decided, let's throw a wrench in the whole entire marketing thing and let's make myself readily available because that's what we are. We're always ready. So, I mean, I've been competing for 30 plus years, so I know the schematics and how people work. And I saw it, threw the wrench in it, and here we go. December 12th, we got a fight versus Charles Oliveira, myself at UFC 256. It's been forever since I fought on the undercard. I'm going to be real. And last time I lost, how long? It's all that fun stuff, but this is an interesting fight because I'm having fun. There's plenty of juice in the squeeze left for my family, and there's a lot of ways that I can get in there and get that victory.
How did Charles come about as the opponent? And when his name was mentioned, he's not really a household name, but still a top 7 guy in the division. How did you react when you heard that was the name?
Well, that's what I mean, the disrespect that everybody gets saying that he's not a household name. Like interviewers, I'm not no disrespect to you, but that's where disrespect comes in, where people are like, well, you don't have a name and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, we don't go in there and like prove ourselves enough to have a name. Like, seriously, what's a household name? Like what? Clorox? To be real, like what's a household name? What, Connor? Big Nuggets? You got Tiramisu? Those are household names. I made that. That's kind of fun. And be real, he's a game opponent, dude. Like you have Gaethje, who is a game opponent that wants to go in there. I'm not going to be chasing after these top 5, 3, 4, whatever guys. I think that they deserve to be having these fights. We talk a whole lot, like, you know what I mean? But then you got a guy like me that's in there doing the damn thing and saying, hey, are you not entertained? You got a guy like Oliveira who's going to come in here. Hopefully he makes the weight so we have a fight. That way we can handle business like professionals, because if you can't make the weight, how do you expect to be a champ and make championship weight to get that title? These are things that we need to make happen. Like, I'm being real, and that's why I'm here. I'm here fighting for my shit, not for everybody else. But I'm making sure that everybody demonstrates to themselves to the max of their potential. Why are you going to fight to the lowest of your potential because somebody says you're not a household name? So, yeah.
You make a great point. And the reason why is because it doesn't really matter who you're fighting. You're under the same circumstances anyways. You're getting paid the same amount of money and all of that. And when you look at Charles Oliveira, he should be a household name. The guy's an unbelievable fighter. And I really hope that people don't look at this fight and say, well, I don't recognize that name, and don't tune in, because that would be a big mistake. I think that Charles Oliveira and yourself have proven over the years to be two of the most entertaining and creative fighters in the entire UFC. I think that it's a fantastic matchup, but I think you're right. I think a lot of people do put a little bit too much stock into that kind of thing.
It's just because you know what I mean? Like what ESPN's going to feed, you know what I mean? Or Sports Center, what you guys are going to feed. You guys are on that proper 12. I'm gonna be real. All that marketing money and everything that's out there. Look, everybody dances when money's out there like this. Like dance, dance, boys, dance, dance, girl, dance. Like what? Like you know what I mean? I'm not out there like promoting any of the boys. I'm not trying to do this or make like pump stuff down people's throats like that. I can't do that. I'm not like I don't want to be like McNuggets. I don't want to be like tiramisu, sample everybody. I'm only doing my thing, and I'm out here just competing for my self interest now, which is for my team, my family. I've always been that way, but I've always expanded my grounds, and it made myself paper thin, and I wasn't having fun anymore. Now I'm having fun. I'm involving myself around a lot more activities outside of the fight realm, so that way I don't have to rely on the UFC to pay my bills anymore. You can either take this is something I learned in bartending. You can either, and this is from my buddy Larry back in the day. He told me you can either take tips or pay bills. And it wasn't along those lines, and I pretty much put it like that. It was like you can take tips, man, your whole entire life, but wouldn't you want to pay bills? I pay bills. I'm out there working. I'm networking. Like during fight week, I'm over here making my phone calls and making my brands align and making sure that I'm doing this stuff. I'm cutting the weight as well. I'm making sure that my facility has lights on, right? I'm making sure that those bills are paid, and I'm making sure that my athletes are being taken care of. I didn't even sign my bout agreement until they said that my boy Tommy and my boy Cisco were going to get fights. You have to understand that I just signed my bout agreement yesterday. Like this is what I'm doing. Like I don't speak for everybody, but I speak for my team and where it comes from because I work and I pave that way. I paved that way back for UFC. What the last fight from in Fort Lauderdale, right, or Florida, Jacksonville. We did that, and you know what I got out of all that trying to please everybody? Heat. You got your ass kicked. You took too much damage. You're never gonna be the same, and this and that, and blah blah blah. Like 8 Mile. I'm the nakedest I've ever been. I have like zero privacy, and everybody's pulling at my arms left and right. And I got like this little bit of privacy in here, and I'm like peeking at it. I'm smiling. And everybody's like, "Why? What's so special? What are you doing that's so much special and different than everybody?" And they're pulling at my arms, and they're pulling at me, and I'm just sitting here laughing, struggling. And eventually, they're pulling at my clothes, and then they're ripping my stuff apart, and they're sort of trying to figure out what is so special about what I have in my academy or in my life. And I sit here, and the last breath that I have, I go like this, and there's nothing. And they look at me, and they're like, and then they walk away. And then I go back to doing this, and I'm still smiling. My whole entire life, it's been like that with interviewers and everybody and everything the whole entire time. I have a little bit of privacy, and everybody wants to know what that special secret, that magic sauce, and everything. You know what I mean? And try to figure it out. Or what's the last thing? What's the goal? You have a goal, you're gonna plateau. You got to have these steps that you're gonna have, whatever it's gonna be. You're gonna have a title shot. You're gonna have, like for me, the goal really is to keep supporting my family through generations. Is to make sure that I'm setting that standard for myself, so that way my kid sees it. Because he's seeing his dad get up in the morning and going to work, and he's seeing him like doing all these things and coming back with bumps and bruises and not smiling. I'm smiling the whole entire time. I got my wife barely even crying, but I got other families crying for me now. We don't want to see you injure yourself. We want to see you doing your best. We don't want to. And even you, I guarantee it. Everybody in the interview, like and in the world, in ESPN, they were like, "Man, Tony, like we've never seen you like that." I enjoyed that fight because you guys got entertainment. You guys got 5 rounds of entertainment instead of one round. What was needed was 5, and I gave it to you guys. I'm not doing that for y'all anymore. I'm doing this for me. This is my time now. I've been earning this every step of the way, with or without the UFC. I'm a company man. I go through that. And when the company's through turmoil, you know who you can count on. When everybody runs away and they're saying, "Oh, you got to protect yourself like Connor and you make nuggets and you got tiramisu running away and this and that," who shows up? Where's my title shot? Where's all my stuff was supposed to be owed to me? Nothing's owed to you. You got to earn it. And I keep earning my way to victory every single time. You guys have seen it. But nobody speaks up. You guys don't speak up because you guys getting paid by Connor. You guys getting paid by Proper 12 and all those other bull. You guys got that facade over your face, man. You guys don't want to speak up for me and be like, "Yo, give Tony the title shot." You guys got umpteen amount of time to talk to Dana, but you all ain't speaking up for me. You guys are watching me getting over left or right by my old management companies. Nobody's saying right. But yet here I am saving the day, making sure that everybody's got entertainment in the world, and then taking heat afterwards saying, "Why didn't you win? Tell me."
Let me rewind to the very beginning of your answer. So you got two of your training partners, Tommy and I think Francisco Rivera. You said they've both got shots coming up in the UFC.
That's what I'm told. And anybody that trains with me over at my academy is what I was told by Sean Shelby. I have applications in my resumes from other people, but if they're training with me and they can get through the park and they can come to my academy and get past that level and they can maintain it mentally, I will make sure they get trained enough because I come from the Ultimate Fighter. I graduated from that program, the mailroom program, where my word is my bond. They have that and they understand that now, and I've earned that. So, I mean, from the UFC, from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys so much for allowing me to have that encouragement because you guys know I don't with my training, and you guys know I don't put my way I speak. My boys are always ready. You got Tommy Aaron, you got Cisco Rivera, and I got Anthony Gonzalez that are in my corner, and we're going to make sure we come out of here with this victory this weekend at UFC 256. We are on the undercard, and I'm very proud to be on an undercard for a guy like Figueroa and Moreno. Fight. That guy got balls, bro. He just fought. And he said, you know what? I want to fight again. That is what we need. I don't speak for everybody. I'm like, man, this guy gets it. This guy gets it, man. That's cool. I don't mind fighting on an undercard like that. Here, put me in, man. I don't have to be main event. I don't always have to have the spotlight around me. Who wants that all the time? Who wants to be praised all the time where people are like pulling at you and you become jaded where your clothes are so ripped apart because like everybody's like just, oh, he's got praise and they're going to roll their eyes and do the yawns. And nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to hear that. I'm a bartender. I got so used to like being able to see other people that were the life of the parties, man. And then just like everybody be like, man, that guy. I'm not like that. I'm not trying to always have the fucking pride around me, but somehow it's always like that. But I'm not going to say I don't like it. I'm going to say I'm trying to do something with it. Just encourage everybody else to have that recovery life. During the pandemics, make sure y'all take care of yourselves.
Why do you think it's the role of media to lobby for you to get a title shot? You mentioned that off the top of your previous answer. What would you like to see media do more? What do you think that we are not doing right in a sense in terms of trying to lobby for you to get a title shot?
I wouldn't even say it's for me. I would just say quit kissing so much ass. Like saying Connor's name. Like I want to be real. Like the dude hasn't competed in how long? Like I mean, it's like a name that crossed over, but like you're saying like there's not a household name because the name that's in your guys' mouth is got. I'm not telling you guys are kissing his ass or doing whatever, but you guys aren't putting the other names out there. You're not giving a chance for these other athletes like myself or Charles Oliveira. You guys are putting in people like Chandler who did what for the UFC, right? And now he's got a top 3 position. Get out of here. That's on you guys to speak up because while I was getting around by my management, my old previous management, and Danny even said the same thing, like, oh man, you over. Well, why the fuck did nobody speak up? Speak up before it's too late for y'all. I want to be real. So I can't tell you exactly what to say because that's on you guys and part of my language. Don't swear. But at least speak what's from your heart and not what you're being told. Everybody's too afraid of doing that.
But if we would have said, hypothetically, Paradigm are doing Tony dirty, something along those lines, would it have changed anything?
Maybe I would have got out of the situation sooner, huh? Maybe they wouldn't owe me $500,000. Maybe I wouldn't have came out of pocket so much, or maybe wouldn't have the TMZs and all the bullshit and everything else like that, or being a targeted individual. How I learned from one of the biggest supporters of that company, Niche, tells me that, yeah, you were targeted, Tony. It gave me the biggest moment of relief. You have no idea. It's some bullshit. But what I have done is increase my value so much that I don't even give anymore. I don't need fighting anymore to support myself. I enjoy this sport. I love my job. I love the fact that I'm going to go back to school and get my doctorate. So all you cannot tell me I'm wrong. I want that degree. I want that title. That's the goal to me.
What are you getting a doctorate in?
Physical therapy when I started, and they made it a doctorate that year when it was supposed to be a 4-year program. I thought I couldn't handle it. I thought it was gonna be too much. And here I go throughout the whole entire year figuring out what I like to do. Hospitality management's right there, but I love to help with people and I like to recover right. I've helped my knee recover all the way, right? I did that myself. I went and looked at the doctor and I saw that doctor that I went and shook his hand. He's not even working anymore because he people over with insurance. He was doing that with NFL athletes and stuff like that. I got tired of looking at people like that. When people shake your hand, they want to shake it neutral. Watch, guys. When somebody shakes your hand, they're dominant over you. They think they're better than you if they shake their hand like that. This way, they're very open and receiving. That means they're very welcoming. This way, we're very neutral. You got to think like that, how people shake your hand now. So I'm going to put that out there. So now watch, everybody's going to take really careful of that stuff and who they're going to relate to.
People aren't shaking hands all that much these days as a result of this pandemic that's going on. But noted, I like that. So the lower is.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. So now it's a little bit too late for everybody to understand where everybody's character is at. For the last 10 years, I did that, and I got to understand people, and I got to relate, and I got to watch people who was connected and all of this stuff for the last, 8-10 years since I moved to California. I'm from Michigan. California, I love California, but it's not going to change me and all this stuff that I did homework and notes on and got to read people and see how everybody really is. I just kept my mouth shut and just kept my eyes open, kept my ears open. I just paid attention. So now everybody that is not used to this because of the pandemic, I know it, and my people around here know it too. Who's the hardcores? Mr. Glasses right there, my guy right there. You're real. You've always been real. A lot of other people are real, but they forget over time, right? Because it's stupid. Not us. We keep it real.
I hope you're referring to me when you say Mr. Glasses. People can't tell that you're pointing at the camera, at the monitor here, but I appreciate that. Real recognize real.
Anytime I've always had an interview with you, I like doing the interview. Like you and Schmo, and the Chad Mark I do. I mean, Brett's cool too, and a lot of these guys, but they forget, man. They forget where they come from and the humble beginnings and the backgrounds and how they get to the spot where they're at by the help from these athletes and myself. I always said that nobody's going to like me when I get to this point in my life because I said that how many years ago? I'll find that quote. I said it probably like 8 years ago, 7 years ago. I said, nobody's going to like me when I get to this point because I'm going to be real with everybody. By that time, when I get to this point, it's going to be funny. There you go.
Well, I'm very happy with the point you've gotten to. You're now at a point where you're doing this for you. You're not worried about the outside interference, and you're making sure that you're happy, keeping that top of mind. I even heard you in a recent interview say that when you did the last event in Jacksonville, rather, the whole mood was just trying to be happy, remain calm, remain happy when everybody else was kind of panicked. You wanted to keep it light. So I feel like that's kind of a metaphor for where your career's at right now. Instead of panicking and getting into a frenzy, you want to just keep it light, keep it happy, and make sure that you got a smile on your face. And I can appreciate that.
I was taught better than to create fear. I was taught a lot better than that. When I see fear like that, I run towards danger. When water's coming at me, I don't run away. I go towards it. Who needs help? I've always had that mentality, and I can't help it. I'm not going to change it for anybody. My hospitality, the way I am, for me, everybody looks at it like, you do too much, man. I can't help it. I love it. If somebody needs an extra drink or if they need an extra towel or something like that and they're cutting weight, I'm like, yo, I mean, you'll be all right. I can't help that. And I used to start to think about it because people frowned upon it. Because why are you going over your boundary to like make somebody's day happy? Well, why not? Why am I not being able to like use what my God-given talents are to be able to go and help somebody with their life? Like you said in that interview, you said it with the thing where I walked in like an apocalyptic, right? And everybody's had fear in their face. When I carried that belt, it was like over there, and everybody said, why do you carry that belt with you? It's a reminder, not just to myself, but to the other athletes of what I went through. So that way they can not make the same mistakes that I did. That way they're smart. That they listen to my interviews, and they're like, and it becomes a meme, which is funny, right? And I'm very fortunate that everybody considers me like a Chuck Norris. But there's only Chuck Norris, man. I'm no Chuck Norris. I got one of those guys. I'm me. I'm an entertainer. I built a character. It's an idea. I hope Will Smith says it's an idea. I built that. I put it out there, and a lot of people, if they can relate to that idea and they can correlate to that, and they really want to get to know me, then they'll really find out how to. Like they'll ask me questions, and they'll be a part of it and be a part of the things that I have instead of just the interviews. They'll want to get involved, and that's incredible. We have this platform to be able to go out there and demonstrate what we're doing as our talents in that octagon. And I say it as an artist, you have to paint that canvas, right? Not paint it with blood, but that's where mental capacity is at. I say as an artist, you have to go out there and paint that canvas. That means you have to demonstrate your moves and your talents out there, especially for everybody, if that's what you're doing it for. Everybody takes everything into completely different like vibes, man. That's why I say it's like this right here, right? It's like, where's everybody's mental thought? Where's everybody thinking? What are their vibes, or who they're surrounding themselves around? You can tell immediately like who people are surrounding themselves with, good or bad. If they come in with an attitude, you're like, man, hey, relax, chill out. That's how it is, man. And we're during this time. So without any further ado, we got UFC 256 this weekend. You got myself, the co-main event with Charles Oliveira. You got Figueroa that's headlining again, coming off of a victory over Alex Perez. I got to work with Alex Perez. And I kept trying to tell the kid, come back to the academy. But he didn't make it a point to come back. I know how to get out of certain moves. I know how to do different things. But unless you step out of your boundaries and your comfort zone, you will never learn. Alex is a good friend of mine too, and nothing bad against him. But that's what I'm saying. He has a kid, and we have different things and balances in our life. A lot of times it takes time management. That's not my own thing, but I got taught that and it's learned, not by my buddy over here, but somebody else that's really close to me. Time management is the one thing that we all forget about. You got to have time for me. That's me time. If you're going to take care of yourself, how do you expect to take care of other people if you can't take care of yourself? We spread ourselves so damn thin that it's so funny that you got to snap. You're going to break. Can't do it, man. You have your me time first, right? And then be able to take care of everybody else afterwards. You have to do that. For a split second, you have to be a little bit selfish to take care of your breathing and your heart rate, because these are the only two things that we can really control in our life. Everything else is up to the big guys upstairs. Yeah.
There's only one Chuck Norris, only one Tony Ferguson, and you are all about hospitality. You've been very hospitable with your time. I appreciate that. Yourself, Charles Oliveira, co-main event, UFC 256 this weekend. And congratulations to you on baby number 2.
Hey, thank you very much. Salud.